Back by popular demand, it's another fabulous night over at Crypto Cove. Hello, everyone. We're here another night at Crypto Cove, and tonight we're going to be talking about PML as well as how to purchase it using PancakeSwap. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and dive right in. I'll go ahead and share my screen. Now, PML, for anyone curious, currently stands right now at 143,529.30.43, excuse me. But that's probably going to change a bit over the course of the night. We'll see how it goes. Now, in order to purchase PML, we use a platform called PancakeSwap. Now, I've talked about PancakeSwap in the past before. It's definitely the platform that I usually recommend as a default for just about anyone interested in swapping tokens. But we've had some new people join since last I talked about it, so it's useful to have a refresher every now and then. Wouldn't you say, folks?
Yes.
Yep.
And tonight we're going to be talking about PML in particular, because quite a few people are going to need to buy some more PML relatively shortly as their loans come due on the full microloan platform. So this will be good for anyone to come back to and review as they go along. So with that in mind, the first thing we'll do is, number one, make sure we have MetaMask open. And I know this may seem obvious to quite a few people here, but mistakes have been known to happen before. And from here, if you don't already have your crypto set up and ready to go, you'll actually want to purchase some using fiat, probably. And there's a couple different ways you would do this. The first and most common way that you would probably do this is going to the MetaMask icon and clicking on the buy and sell feature. That'll open up your MetaMask portfolio. Then you can select the amount that you want to purchase. And by the way, just as a quick tip to everyone here, usually what you'll want to do is you'll want to buy Binance coin rather than USDT, because a lot of times what's happened is that people have bought USDT on the wrong chain. Like they'll buy USDT on the Ethereum chain, which can create quite a few more hoops to jump through and quite a few more headaches. Now, it is possible to swap that USDT over to the right chain, but that creates a few more fees to go along with it and means you have to take a bit more time and do a few more steps. So the best thing to do is just right off the bat, select Binance coin rather than USDT. And chances are you will see one of the exchanges that you've actually done business with before, and you'll want to do business with that exchange again since they'll already have your KYC and all that jazz. Now, if you joined in the 777 giveaway and haven't done anything with any exchange yet, well, no time like the present. What will happen when you get to this screen is you'll be prompted to enter in your location information as well as your currency information. And then I'll go ahead and generate some quotes for you with the various exchanges that MetaMask partners with. Transas is fairly popular, as is Mercurio, but those are just two of the exchanges that may be available to you. It all depends on what's available in your area. Now, if you don't see any of these exchanges available in your area, or MetaMask doesn't show you any exchanges at all available in your area, then what you'd want to do is take a look at the big market exchanges that might service your area still. The first one that comes to mind is Binance, of course, because they're the owners and operators of the Binance Smart Chain, the chain that we do business on here in pool funding, as well as the pool microloan platform. So if this is available in your area and MetaMask doesn't show any exchanges available for you, then definitely take a look at Binance. And if Binance isn't available, then take a look at crypto.com because crypto.com also sells BNB. So that's that part of it's handled. We're going to assume you already have BNB ready to go. And first things first, before you actually swap over to PML, you'll want to swap over to the USD. Now, I'm not going to go into that in this call because we've actually gone over that several times before. But the short of it is you're going over to PancakeSwap and make sure BNB is selected up at the top. Then you click on Cake and select USDT. And then you would type in the amount of BNB you want to swap over to USDT. And then do the swap from there. All right, so any questions on that before we move over to the main part of the call? No? Okay. So we're over here in PancakeSwap again, partly because, well, we never left. And the first thing we'll want to do when we come over to PancakeSwap is we'll want to click the blue Connect Wallet button. If you've already done business with PancakeSwap before, then your wallet might still be connected. But I've went ahead and reset everything for the purposes of this call. So what we'll do is we'll click the Connect Wallet button, and you can click this blue Connect Wallet button down here, or this blue Connect Wallet button up in the top right. They do the exact same thing. All right, and in this case, since we're using MetaMask, I'll go ahead and click on MetaMask. If in Trust wallets or any other wallets, then, well, of course, you have those options available to you. But in this case, we're using MetaMask, and most everyone here is going to be using MetaMask. So we click that, and now MetaMask will ask us to connect with this website. So we'll go ahead and click the connect button. All right, and now we're connected. So again, we're going to assume that we already have USDT ready to go. So we'll click on the BNB in the from spot, and we'll switch that over to USDT. All right, and now we're going to click on Cake. And one thing that you should note if you haven't put anything into PancakeSwap before, like for example, any of the PF tokens that we use, is that with relatively unpopular tokens like our PF tokens as well as PML, PancakeSwap will not automatically have an entry for them. So let me show you what happens when we type in PML, and it shows no results found. So what we want to do is we want to import the token into PancakeSwap using its token contract address. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop the share for right now and grab that. And I'll go ahead and post in the chat as well for anyone who wants it. I'll also be posting it in the video description down below for anyone watching this on YouTube later on. Okay, so we have the token contract address copied. So I'll go ahead and start my screen share again. And what we'll want to do is we'll want to click on this search bar here where it says search name / address. And then we'll want to paste that token contract address into that field. And you see that shows PML here now, or PML coin. So we'll go ahead and click on import. And usually PancakeSwap will show a warning that anyone can create tokens on the BSC chain with a name, including creating fake versions of tokens. The usual stuff to try and protect the user and err on the side of caution. But with that, we'll go ahead and tick the I understand box and we'll click on import. Now, sometimes that import menu bugs out for folks who are using the mobile app, and we'll get into more as to how to work around that right around the end of the call. But for now, we're assuming that we're using laptop and we were able to import correctly. So now that we have the token imported, it's automatically selected. If you come back here to purchase some more PML, what you'll need to do is you'll click on whether a token is selected here. Usually it'll be cake once you first come here. And then you type in PML. And since you've already added it, you don't need to add it again. All right, so now we'll need to select how much USDT we're wanting to swap over to PML. For this example, I'm going to swap $10 worth over to PML. So I'll put in 10 USDT. And one thing that's also worthy of note is that PancakeSwap denominates any amount that you put in based off of the amount of that token. So this isn't $10, this is 10 USDT. No matter that, it comes out to roughly the same. And this is going to be the same for any token you want to swap from. It would be, if I put BNB in there, I would be swapping, say, 10 BNB rather than $10 worth of BNB. So something to look out for. So we've got our swap quotes here, 10 USDT for 0.000068 PML. And that looks good to me. So we'll go ahead and click on the swap button. And then you'll be brought over to a confirm swap menu. And what that'll do is that'll show you details about the swap and show you a bit more as to how much PML you're going to be getting in this case. Like we can see that's obviously a longer number than we saw before. But if we go over here, we can see the price for the USDT that we're putting in. So for example, we can see this amount per 1 USDT. And if we go down to price impact, that shows us how much impact on the price this purchase is going to have. So the price of PML is going to go up about 2.06% due to this purchase. And if we go down to slippage tolerance, what slippage tolerance is it's basically a bit of a buffer you can put there for the amount of token that you're swapping to from the moment you click on the confirm swap button to the actual moment where the swap is sent through the network. Usually in most cases, it's fine just to leave it at this auto setting here, but in some cases you might want to take it up to say 0.1%, 0.5%, 1%, or what have you. But most of the time you can just leave that alone. Usually that's set at 0.5%, so 0.5%. And if we go down to minimum received, this is the absolute minimum PML that I'm going to receive from this trade here. And that's pretty much all there is to that. Trading fee, now that's a fee that's charged by the liquidity provider, in this case, PancakeSwap itself, for using the swap service. So with that in mind, we'll go ahead and click the confirm swap button. and then MetaMask should pop up with a transaction request. And if you've never done anything on PancakeSwap before, then you might need to confirm a couple more requests to the spending cap, because that's what gives PancakeSwap the permission to spend tokens from your wallet. In this case, the USDT. I've already gone and approved that ahead of time. So we're at the actual transaction request, and I'll go ahead and click confirm. And now the swap is going to take place. Usually it takes somewhere around, say, 15 seconds or so. And sometimes it also just hangs a bit depending on the token pair that you're swapping. So you can also put your wallet address into BSC scan and take a look there to see if the swap has actually gone through. So I've gone ahead and put my wallet address into BSC scan. So I'll go ahead and refresh the page to see if the swap has gone through. And so far it hasn't. So let's go back over to PancakeSwap. And sometimes the exchange just doesn't work the first time. In this case, probably because I spent so much time explaining things. But we're going to refresh the page and try that again.
Hey, Hunter, quick question. Does
Yes.
Zoom slow things down?
Yeah, Zoom definitely slows things down a bit. Zoom is definitely a resource diva. But we'll go ahead and go through the swap again. And there's our confirmation again. And there we go. It went through. And let me go ahead and refresh over in BSC scan. And we can see that 10 USDT was swapped over for this amount of PML coin. So that was relatively simple, wouldn't you guys say?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so we'll go over to PML and double check the amounts that we're working with now. And if I recall correctly, the amount of PML that I had before this call was around $28 worth. So now we can see that I have about $39 worth of PML. Part of that was from the fact that I just put $10 in, and another part of that being because the token price has gone up. So with that in mind, let's go over to 8space and check the price of the token now. So it's now at 144,542. So what was that, like a 1K difference for $10 or so? It was at about 143 before, if I recall correctly. And we can actually take a look at that swap that went through, being as it was the most recent 10 USDT here from my wallet address. Excuse me. And looks like we've had a couple other people doing buys while I've been talking. Fair enough, fair enough. But we can see before this call started, it was hovering roughly around 142, 143. So for my $10 that I put in just now, we moved the price of the token up $1,000. Let that sink in for a moment, folks. And that was just me doing this as an example. Imagine if I put in more in. Imagine if I put in enough to pay back one of my loan units that I've taken out so far. And that's something that quite a few people are going to be doing relatively shortly as their loan starts to become due. They're going to buy either $50 or $100 worth of PML. So that's why I haven't been too concerned about the price of PML right now, provided we stay above the price floor of 50K, that is. Because I know the price is going to be going up relatively shortly. The first loans are going to become due around the end of the month or so, and I imagine quite a few people are going to be paying off their loans early when that option is available to them. So definitely something to keep in mind. And even if you just want to buy a bit of PML just to hold it and watch the value of it go up, you can absolutely do that. All right, so that was the main portion of what I wanted to share with everyone on the call here. Does anyone have any questions?
No.
We got all the stuff outside the yard sale, ongoing yard sale.
All right, comments. Does anyone want to share something or ask any other question? Heck, it can be about anything related to PML, anything else related to pool funding, or any general crypto question that you have. This is absolutely the place to ask.
Hunter,
I have a question. Oh,
Hunter, I just wanted to say you're a really good teacher.
Thank you.
Thinking
All right,
that
and and I believe Teresa was trying to talk, so
Yeah.
go ahead, Teresa.
I have a question. On the micro lending page, they if you scroll down on there, you can see your loans, and then you scroll down a little far. It says My PF Coins, and it lists the 4 coins. Is that accurate? That's on there, or do you know?
Yeah, yes, that's accurate based off of the current price of the coins,
Okay,
or
so
current
it
market
shows
price, rather.
what, like in my case, I currently have and the current value of those coins then, or what percentage of, or yeah,
Right,
okay.
right.
All right. And then so on the when you on the borrow screen, well, I can't do it now. Let me go back to my dashboard. So when I pay back the loans that I have out, uh that there's a double dip, or like, so it's a $50 loan and you're supposed to get $100 back, right? When does that
Right.
happen? And will they buy the PML outright for us? Is that how that works?
So let me go ahead and share my screen so you can
Okay.
see a bit of visual as to how that works here. All right, so first thing is that someone has to create a loan offer for you to take, and that loan offer will be $50 worth of PML. So once that loan offer has been put into the pipeline, it'll it'll show up in the pipeline and it'll be available to take out. Now, over on the borrower side, let's say it's that loan's turn next up.
Uh-huh.
So you'll select any one of these tokens that you want to put up as collateral that you have at least $100 worth showing. So, like, for example, I could put $100 worth of PFB up, PFS, or PFG. All depends on what I have at the time and if I have to worry about my whale status. So after that, I click the sign commitment button, check these boxes, and hit I agree. And that's basically how the loaning system works. And what happens at that point is you'll get $50 worth of the loan coin. And when it comes time to pay back those loans, so like, for example, if I want to pay back one of my loans here, you'd have to pay back double that loan amount. So you'd have to pay back $100 worth of PML.
Okay,
And usually that takes place around 30 days, ideally at least a couple days before the loan comes due. And 60 days after you get the loan, 60 days after you take out the loan, rather, you get a rebate for $50 worth of the PML or loan coin. And that rebate essentially makes the loan interest-free based off of that loan, and also gives you some PML to lend if you want to.
okay,
Now, one thing that's worthy of note is during this month and potentially the next month, we're actually having a bit of a special offer where you can actually double that rebate that you get if we stay above the price floor.
right. And that's the
So
50,000, right? Is what that floor is, or was it something
at
else?
50,000, yes.
Okay, all right.
And right now we're standing at 142,000.
Yeah,
So we're pretty comfortable there, and odds are good everyone involved will be getting that bonus. And that's basically how that part of the system works. But what some people have been doing, myself included, is they've been taking the $50 worth of PML that they've been getting from the loan that they've been taking out, and they've been turning around and going over to the lending side and using that $50 worth of PML to create a loan offer.
okay.
So, excuse me. You just got that $50 worth of PML, and already you're putting it to work for you.
Okay,
So,
go ahead. Sorry.
go ahead.
On the lender part there, I know that the next lender or the next loan that someone will get is number 437, not 437,
Mhm.
right? Where
Right,
do
in this case.
those borrowers come? Are they just people that are in pool funding, or who are those borrowers?
Most of the time, borrowers are going to be people that are already in pool funding, at least
Okay,
right now, but anyone can buy any of these tokens off of the market. So if anyone wants to come in and be a borrower, they can. They just have to have $100 worth of any of these tokens. And again, you can purchase any of these tokens on the open market over at PancakeSwap.
right. They
So,
also There's also a buy option. Yeah, on the dashboard, I think it is. Let me look here. Is this where I am? Yeah.
that's right. There's also a buy option on for any of the tokens here. And basically what that does is it brings you over to the swap pair for that token.
Yeah, it takes
So
you
I
to
just like,
PancakeSwap is what I
yeah, takes you
realized.
to
Yep. Okay.
PancakeSwap.
All right.
So basically, basically the exact same thing. So yeah, anyway, that's how that works. And I absolutely recommend people do that to double dip what they get out of the platform, because you're going to be getting $100 worth of PML out of this loan once it becomes due back to you. And even if that loan doesn't come back to you before you have to pay back the loan that you had to take out over here, that means you'll have to buy $100 worth of PML. And while that might not seem like a good thing on the surface, what that also means is that'll bring the price of PML up, and therefore that'll mean you get more value for what you put into the program. And you'll get that much closer to maximizing the amount that you can get out of the program, that being the $1,500 max that's been talked about a bit. So that's how that all works.
Okay, this is a completely off the wall question. If you buy a coin today, like PML, and you go out and it's worth $143,000, is there a way to go back if you forget what you bought it at, go back later to see what you bought it at and where it is now to know if you're ahead or behind? Can you see what you paid for the coin or the percentage of the coin?
You can. So
Okay.
for example, let me go ahead and share my screen again. And we'll go ahead and go over to BSC scan with my wallet since I just made a purchase. And we'll see, now I've got a bunch of junk tokens on here now. But anyway, we can see my purchase that I made for PML about 13 minutes ago.
Uh-huh.
And we can see that I bought about 0.00006866 PML for 10 USDT. So you can see based off of that, and you can also filter out the amounts of PML that you bought so that you just see the PML transactions. So for example, I just clicked on PML and now it's just showing me the PML transactions that I've made. So we can see the one I just made with PancakeSwap 13 minutes ago. And what I can do from here is I can click on the transaction hash because I recognize when I did this, that was about, again, 13 minutes ago. Here's
Uh-huh.
another one that was from 4 days ago and so on. But in this case, we'll go ahead and click on the one from 13 minutes ago. And I can see from this transaction hash that I purchased this amount of PML for $10 on this date. It was at 01:51 a.m. UTC time. So almost 2 o'clock UTC time, I went ahead and made this purchase. And usually this will show up as a certain number of minutes, hours, or days ago. So you'll have a pretty good idea as to when you made this purchase. And yeah, you'll have a good way to track it down from there.
Okay. Okay, that was just something I was trying to figure out the other day, and because I'm pretty good about writing everything down, and somehow I didn't write it down. I went,
Yeah, in blockchain we trust. All right, does anyone have any other questions?
When you gonna do another crypto Cove?
So that's based off of when I come up with ideas as to what I decide I want people to know about and what I think might be most helpful for folks in pool funding and as well as anyone else who wants to be on the call to know about. So there's really no set schedule as to when these code calls are put on, more as a matter of whenever I feel like it, basically.
Gotcha. Thank you when you do it though.
Yeah.
Some of us are still in the infancy or toddler stage.
Well, that's part of why I'm here, definitely.
Thank you.
All right, does anyone have any other questions, comments, anything of that nature?
these are very helpful. I'll just say that. So,
Thank you.
Very, very much so. Where do we do you ever post that link where we can help you with the production of, like, on the help with to keep the lights on,
So usually what happens is I usually post my wallet address in any documents that I put out, and that's usually where I accept donations from. I can go ahead and put that into the chats here if anyone wants to donate. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I might put it into the description of the video as well.
That way we can help.
All right, there's a question from Marjorie in the Zoom chat. If I bought PML coin, can I use that to pay my debt, or do I need to buy new PML coin before clicking the pay button? So when you take out a loan, you get $50 worth of PML coin. Now, that PML coin is yours to do with whatever you'd like. If you want to just hold on to it and use that to help pay back the loan, then you absolutely can do that. But since you've had to pay back $100 worth of PML, you'd still have to purchase $50 worth of PML in that case. So you absolutely can do that, but you'd still have to make a purchase of PML anyway. And I'm definitely going to recommend in all cases, if you can do it, you'd want to use the $50 of PML that you get from the loan that you take out to go ahead and create another loan unit. But if you have to use that $50 worth of PML in order to help you afford being able to pay back that loan units, then, well, that's definitely understandable, I'd say. All right, does anyone have any other questions?
Yeah, Hunter, just a quick one here. So, when people are paying back their loans, and if you are a lender and you're accumulating PML in your micro lending account, if you've got a surplus in there that you're not going to be buying more loans with or borrowing, can that be swapped into another coin or cashed out for fiat?
Yeah, so what you would do with that in that case, if it gets to the point where you're pulling out, say, the max $1,500 a month that you can get from the loan platform, is you could swap that PML over to USDT. And from there, you could do whatever you wanted with the USDT. Like you could swap the USDT over to BNB and sell that on an exchange, or you could use that to finance what you're doing in pool funding, or you could also do trades with their members for something else, or etc., etc.,
Okay,
etc.
okay.
You get the idea.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you could do with that.
We would swap it in PancakeSwap from PML to Binance to BNB.
You would probably swap it from PML over to USDT first, because
Oh, okay.
I don't believe there's a swap pair for PML to BNB as of yet.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Are there any further questions? All right, I'll go ahead and send us off, right? And for anyone who's been on these calls with me before, you know exactly what's coming next. So does anyone think I'll get it right this time?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we are
Alrighty.
eternally optimistic.
Very excited.
Your optimism may very well be misplaced.
Very excited.
Anyway, 3, 2, 1. To the moon!
moon.
No! Wrong one.
yeah.
Again.
Hunter.
Even on my own calls.
You just
Oh
love
dear.
this.
Well, that's a good one to get.
Yep. All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.